Because of the new Super Mario Galaxy movie trailer that was released a few days ago, I decided to do a review on the game. I hope you're as excited as I am for the movie. Now, on to the review. Back in 2000, Nintendo showed the world a game that was, by all accounts, impossible to make. It was built around these wild spherical worlds, a concept so ambitious and technically demanding that it got shelved for years. So, how did a small, determined team bring this impossible idea back to life and create a game that would redefine not just Mario, but 3D platformers forever? This is the story of how the game that was never supposed to exist became an absolute masterpiece. So, let's rewind to Nintendo's Space World event in 2000. Everyone was hyped to get the first look at Nintendo's next console, the GameCube. And in classic Nintendo style, they delivered. They rolled out a tech demo called Super Mario 128. On the screen, a single Mario multiplied into 128 different Marios, all running around on a surface that was bending and changing in real time. It was a serious flex of the GameCube's power. But the real magic wasn't just the number of Marios, it was a concept hidden in plain sight: spherical platforms. The director of the demo, a visionary designer named Yoshiaki Koizumi, was obsessed with turning this one specific feature, Mario walking on a sphere, into a full game. But that idea ran into a brick wall of reality. Pretty much everyone agreed. It was impossible. The technical challenges were just massive. How do you even program a camera to follow a character running upside down without making the player feel sick? How do you build a physics engine that feels right when gravity is literally all over the place? The team decided that, while the idea was brilliant, it was just too much for the hardware and the tools they had. So, the concept of a spherical Mario game, the very heart of Super Mario 128, was put on a shelf, pretty much destined to be forgotten. But great ideas don't usually stay dead. They just wait for the right moment. For years, that idea of spherical worlds was just floating around the halls of Nintendo. Then, in late 2004, right after the team finished up Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, a key conversation happened. Shigeru Miyamoto, Mario's creator and Nintendo's resident genius, went to Koizumi and the team at Nintendo EAD Tokyo. He told them he wanted them to make a new, big deal Mario game. And this time, Miyamoto was the one pushing to finally make the spherical platform concept a reality. This was the break the idea needed. Development officially kicked off around 2005, with Yoshiaki Koizumi in the director's chair. Miyamoto would be a producer, but maybe more importantly, he'd be the main playtester, sending crucial feedback from his office in Kyoto. The stage was set. This small, talented team was given a huge task. Take a concept once called impossible and turn it into the next great Mario adventure. They knew it would be tough. Some on the team were thrilled by the challenge, while others were dreading how complicated it would be. They had no clue they were about to make a masterpiece. The biggest problem was still gravity. Think about it. In every 3D platformer up to that point, gravity was a constant. It pulled you down. End of story. It was a basic rule everyone just understood. Super Mario Galaxy wanted to completely shatter that rule. The team had to invent a system where Mario could run all the way around a tiny planet sideways and even upside down without the player feeling lost or dizzy. After about 3 months of just messing around with prototypes, they built a whole new physics system. The solution was both genius and insanely complex. They basically used a technique called raycasting. Imagine an invisible laser is shooting out of Mario's feet at all times. This laser finds the closest surface, figures out its angle, and instantly snaps Mario's orientation to match. To make it feel smooth instead of jarring, they eased the rotation, which created this seamless feeling of sticking to the ground, no matter which way was down. But solving one problem created another. How are you supposed to jump with any accuracy when down changes every few seconds? Koizumi himself said that just making a character jump in 3D was hard enough. Trying to do it on a sphere was absurd. The answer came from one of the game's most iconic moves, the spin attack. By shaking the Wii remote, players could make Mario spin. This move wasn't just an attack. It gave Mario a tiny boost up and sideways, letting you correct your course in mid-air. It was the perfect intuitive fix for navigating a world with 360-degree gravity. With the code finally cracked, the team had turned the game's biggest weakness into its greatest strength. Once they solved the gravity problem, it wasn't just that the game was possible, it blew the doors wide open for creativity. The outer space setting meant the designers didn't have to follow the rules of logic that held back older Mario games. Unlike the huge connected worlds of Super Mario 64 or Super Mario Sunshine, Galaxy was made up of lots of small, separate planets and galaxies. Each little planetoid could be its own playground with a unique theme, a weird gimmick, and a totally new set of rules. One minute you're exploring a planet full of ice, the next you're exploring a planet made of sweets. This structure allowed for a crazy pace of new ideas. The game was classic Miyamoto design philosophy in action, as he'd constantly trade ideas with the team and push them to keep refining things. This creative rush touched every part of the game, from wild power-ups like the Bee Mushroom and Boo Mushroom to the inventive boss fights that took full advantage of the spherical arenas. The same team that was once unsure about the whole idea was now all in, realizing they were making a game that was truly one of a kind. That whole process of building something new from a wild idea is a journey. What took Super Mario Galaxy from being a brilliant game to an unforgettable experience was its soul. For the first time in Mario history, the soundtrack was written for and performed by a live symphony orchestra. The composers, Mahito Yokota and the legendary Koji Kondo, put together a score that was grand, epic, and surprisingly emotional. At first, Yokota worried that huge orchestral music wouldn't really fit the bouncy feel of a Mario game, but the result gave the adventure a truly cosmic scale. The music wasn't just background noise. It was the heartbeat of the game's universe, getting you pumped up in levels like the gusty Garden Galaxy and filling you with wonder in the hub world. And then, there was the story. For a series known for its simple save the princess plots, Galaxy gave us something way deeper. This was mostly thanks to the director, Yoshiaki Koizumi. In what sounds like something out of a movie, he secretly stayed late after work every night to write a storybook for a new character named Rosalina. He showed the finished story to a surprised Miyamoto, and it ended up becoming a huge part of the game's identity. Rosalina's storybook is this beautiful, sad tale about loss, family, and the cycles of the universe. It completely changed the feeling of the whole adventure, making it not just a fun platformer, but a poignant story about loneliness and hope. It added a layer of depth nobody expected from a Mario game, and it's a big reason why Galaxy still connects with so many people today. Super Mario Galaxy launched for the Nintendo Wii in November 2007 and was met with universal roaring applause. It was instantly called one of the greatest video games of all time. Critics couldn't get enough of the gravity mechanics, the masterful level design, the gorgeous visuals, and that unforgettable soundtrack. The game helped sell a ton of Wii consoles and won a whole bunch of Game of the Year awards. It even snagged the prestigious BAFTA for Best Game, a first for a Nintendo title. Its legacy is massive. It proved that even after more than 2 decades, Mario could still be on the cutting edge of game design. It pushed the whole 3D platformer genre into a wild new direction and set a bar for creativity that very few games have reached since. Its success led to a direct sequel, Super Mario Galaxy 2, which built on the original's amazing ideas. But more than anything, the legacy of Super Mario Galaxy is about inspiration. It's a perfect example of how a passionate team with a clear vision can take an idea that everyone dismissed as impossible and turn it into a timeless work of art. From a 7-minute tech demo to one of the most beloved games ever made, the journey of Super Mario Galaxy is really a story about the power of one great idea. It's a story about refusing to accept that something can't be done. The developers at Nintendo took the absurd concept of running around on a sphere and polished it until it felt like the most natural thing in the world. They built an entire universe filled with joy, creativity, and a surprising amount of heart. Super Mario Galaxy wasn't just another sequel, it was a reinvention. It showed us that even in the vast, cold emptiness of space, you can find warmth, joy, and a feeling of home. It is, and always will be, the game that was never meant to exist, and the world of gaming is so much richer because it does. Thanks for watching! If you've enjoyed this review, please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and turn on the bell for notifications. See you in the next video!